game had 3 main factions, and all of them appear in the trailers. By the way, it also seems that the creators chose one of the game's endings from one of these factions as the canon ending. But let's go step by step. In Fallout New Vegas, the main character can join one of these factions during the story, or choose to fight all of them alone. The main character is a courier who works for the Mojave Express. While delivering a package, he is attacked by local raiders led by a man named Benny. They steal the package and leave the courier to die in a shallow grave. A Securitron robot named Victor finds him, digs him out and takes him to the town of Good Springs. There, a doctor saves him, gives him a Pip-Boy in a Volt suit and sends him into the wasteland with a few simple instructions. One of the courier's first goals is to find out why the package he carried, the Platinum Chip, is so important. After he finds Benny and the chip, he discovers that he is now in the middle of a conflict between 3 major factions in the region: Caesar's Legion, the New California Republic, and Mr. House. Remember these names? I will explain each faction later because they all appear in the show's trailers. For now, all you need to know is that each of them wants control over Hoover Dam, which exists in real life and still works in the post-apocalyptic world. The dam provides clean water and electricity to the southwest and represents power over the entire region. During the story, we learn that Mr. House, a man from the 21st century who survived the Great War inside a life support chamber, ordered the Platinum Chip before the bombs fell, but never received it because the war began. The chip contains a program that upgrades Mr. House's robot army, the Securitrons, to their highest combat level. Near the end of the game, the courier learns that Caesar's Legion is preparing a massive attack on Hoover Dam, which is defended by NCR forces. Depending on the courier's decisions, he can take it for the Legion, protect it for the NCR, connect it to Mr. House's network, or take control of it for himself. The game ends with a slideshow showing the results of the courier's actions, the final battle for the dam, and what the winning faction does in New Vegas and the Mojave Wasteland. Now let's talk about what each faction actually is, and the first one is Caesar's Legion. After the war, some people in America fell back to simple ways of living and basically turned into tribes. One of these tribes was led by a man who was lucky enough to be born in a place where parts of old civilization still survived. Using the knowledge he had, he reformed the tribe and chose ancient Rome as his model. He took the title Caesar, introduced Latin terms, built a military system based on Roman legions, and created a culture focused on strength and conquest. This is how a fascist-style faction appeared, with a strict hierarchy, a cult of personality around its leader, total militarization, and the belief that a person has value only while they are useful to the state. After these changes, the tribe became known as Caesar's Legion. They openly practice slavery, treat women as a breeding resource, and destroy anyone who disagrees with them, anyone weak or anyone they consider useless. With this kind of strong hand, the Legion conquered tribe after tribe. Slowly, a small group of tribals around the Grand Canyon grew into a huge military power made of dozens of conquered tribes. They also copied Roman-style clothing, which we can clearly see both in the game and in the trailer fragments. In the trailer, it looks like they captured the main character, Lucy McLean. We also see an explosion in their camp and even one legionary killing another, which is very much in the spirit of this faction. In the game, after the Legion took control of most of the Southwest, they wanted even more territory and moved toward Vegas, aiming to challenge the NCR and capture Hoover Dam. Speaking of the NCR, that is the second major faction in Fallout New Vegas. NCR stands for the New California Republic, and this faction is basically a real functioning state, the closest thing to a pre-war government. The NCR grew from a small farming town called Shady Sands, founded by people from the vault of the main character of the very first Fallout game. Over time, the town grew stronger, united nearby communities through trade and diplomacy, became a republic, and eventually turned into a large country with several states. From the first season of the show, we already know that in 2277, riots began in the NCR because of its war with the Legion. The capital was moved and Shady Sands became the first capital. Then in 2283, Hank, the father of the show's main character, caused a nuclear explosion that turned the city into ruins. The NCR weakened sharply and its survivors and refugees spread to different places, with some gathering under Lee Moldova in the Griffith Observatory. In the trailer, the ghoul probably meets a woman who used to be part of the NCR but did not join Moldova. She seems to be in an abandoned NCR camp with an NCR flag featuring the two-headed bear visible on the left, and she is wearing old NCR armor that looks very worn out. Judging by how bad things became after the destruction of their first capital, and by the fact that Caesar's Legion does not control New Vegas in the show, it is very likely that the canon ending is the one where Mr. House wins. Mr. House is a pre-war genius and businessman, the founder of Robco and the main architect of New Vegas. Before the war, he predicted the nuclear apocalypse, prepared Las Vegas for the missile strikes, survived the catastrophe inside a life support capsule in his Lucky 38 casino, and 200 years later became the autocratic ruler of the city with the help of his Securitron army. In Fallout New Vegas, he is one of the key factions and one of the possible futures of the Mojave. In the first season of the show, we see him in the Ghouls' pre-war flashbacks during a Vault-Tec meeting. He also appears in the flashbacks shown in the trailers for the second season, and we even see his monitor, the same one he used to communicate with the game's protagonist. This strongly suggests that he managed to convince the courier to join his side, because in every other ending he must be killed, yet in the trailer he is clearly still alive. After the courier brings him the platinum chip in the game, he upgrades his Securitrons, and their personalities change from police mode to military mode. In the trailer, we can see a Securitron with this upgraded soldier personality, which further supports the idea that the Mr. House ending is canon, since in all other endings the robots are never upgraded. New Vegas also includes several smaller factions that do not influence the main story as much, but they were shown in the trailer as well. The first of these groups is the Kings. The Kings are a gang or community from Freeside, a poor, half-destroyed district of New Vegas located outside the Strip's wall. The city is divided into two opposite parts: the rich, well-guarded Strip, controlled completely by Mr. House and his Securitrons, and Freeside, where the poor, the homeless, NCR refugees, and anyone without enough money or status end up. In fact, in the trailer, Lucy and the Ghoul are shown standing in Freeside right in front of the gate to the Strip. The Kings were formed there. Their leader settled inside a pre-war school of Elvis impersonators, adopted the appearance of Elvis Presley, the hairstyle, the walk, the clothes, and built a gang around this image to maintain order in Freeside. However, judging by the trailer, it seems they no longer keep order at all, because for unknown reasons, they have all turned into ghouls. It is also unclear what happened to the three main casinos on the Strip that normally accept visitors. These casinos are Gomorrah, the Tops, and the Ultra Lux. Signs for the first two appear in the trailer, but I didn't notice the Ultra Lux. Each of these casinos is run by a tribe that Mr. House hired and transformed into one of the three families. Gomorrah is run by a former tribe known for slavery and murdering travelers. After House's reforms, they adopted the style of an old-world mafia. But inside the casino, they still continue hidden criminal operations, including secret armories and plans to overthrow House. The Tops is controlled by the Chairmen, a tribe that House turned into a group representing the old Vegas style. However, behind closed doors, their leader, Benny, follows his own agenda. The Ultralux is run by the White Glove Society, which used to be a cannibalistic tribe before House turned them into the aristocratic elite of the Strip. Even though they officially abandoned their old customs, some members secretly try to bring back their previous traditions. In this way, each casino is a polished pre-war facade hiding a reformed tribe with its own internal structure. There is also the closed Lucky 38 casino, owned directly by Mr. House, and many scenes in the trailers take place there. For example, in one of the flashbacks, the Ghoul is shown riding a nuclear rocket attraction inside the casino, which perfectly matches the tone and style of Fallout. Now let's talk about the characters, who appeared in the game and will return in the series. The first, of course, is Mr. House, and the second is the unique Securitron Victor, the one who saves the courier at the beginning of Fallout New Vegas. Victor is not a single robot but a personality matrix that can move between different Securitrons, which allows him to appear anywhere a compatible unit is present. In the game, he watches the courier's movements on Mr. House's orders, meets him at the entrance to the Strip, and acts as a guide inside the Lucky 38. Victor even has his own house in Goodsprings, which shows that he is Mr. House's personal Securitron. His behavior and voice are styled like a cowboy. And since we see him standing next to the Ghoul in the trailer, we know this is not a flashback, meaning he will appear in the present timeline of the series. There is also a moment in the trailer where we hear a rough, deep voice over a black screen.
Well then, you're gonna need friends. There's a war coming.
I think this is most likely Marcus, one of the most famous super mutants in the entire Fallout series. He first appeared in Fallout 2 as the Sheriff of Broken Hills, and could even become a companion. Later, he appears again in Fallout New Vegas as the founder and mayor of the mutant settlement Jacobstown. Marcus is a rare example of a peaceful and intelligent super mutant who tries to build a normal life for mutants and ghouls. Since he is connected both to the classic Fallout games and to the Mojave region, his appearance in the series seems very likely. I also want to mention not a character, but one of the most iconic visuals from Fallout New Vegas, the NCR Veteran Ranger. He wears armor with a distinctive, instantly recognizable helmet. In the trailer, we see Maximus wearing a very unusual set of armor. It looks very different from the traditional Veteran Ranger armor, but the helmet clearly matches. I think this is probably the same armor, just redesigned. In Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, power armor looked similar to regular armor and could simply be worn like clothing. But in Fallout 4, Bethesda completely redesigned power armor, making it much larger and more mechanical. It seems that something similar might have happened here, but this time with the Veteran Ranger armor instead of power armor. The trailer also shows two interesting locations, first Novak and second, one of the vaults. Novak is easy to recognize, thanks to the giant Dinky the Dinosaur statue and the motel with the neon sign. In the game, it is a small town on the highway in the Mojave Wasteland, visited by the Courier almost at the start of the story. In another scene from the trailer, we see the entrance to a vault with plants growing right next to the door. This strongly suggests that it is Vault 22, the only vault in New Vegas where both the entrance and the interior were completely overgrown with vegetation. In the game, this happened because of a failed Vault-Tec experiment to create highly productive plants. Their spores escaped containment, spread through the ventilation system, and turned the residents into spore carriers. The thick plant growth around the vault door in the trailer makes this guess very likely. That is everything I was able to notice in the trailer. If I missed something or explained something incorrectly, feel free to mention it in the comments.